Hello, Aries. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. I hope all of you are doing well and welcome to 2024. So, before I begin, I just want to remind everybody that I am reading from Aries energy, and that is up to you to decide where that energy is in your experience or within your birth chart. I tend to look at sun, moon, and rising as being the most important, or the ones that tend to resonate the most. Now, having said that, make sure that you are only taking what resonates and understand that these messages are meant to help you manifest the reality that you wish to see. Having said that, Aries, this week you pulled outsider, perfection, and anger and chains. So the feeling that I got off of this is we're either talking about a situation where standards aren't being met, or there are double standards going on. So let's start with outsider. Outsider is talking about how you're being given an opportunity right now to step outside of the situation, to see it differently. And by doing this, you're creating opportunities for you that are going to be more beneficial. With perfection, this is about setting high standards. Now, there's nothing wrong with setting higher standards for yourself, but I just want to say, for those of you who are dealing with a specific person, this may be a moment where you need to be honest with yourself on whether or not the person that you're dealing with can meet you where you're at. So if they are not able to live up to, the standards that you expect, be careful about how that is affecting you, on how you start perceiving yourself and what is going on, right? And I say that because of anger and chains, because we're talking about, first of all, wanting to break free and be set free from a situation. But it's also about undirected anger being forced outward, which could cause a domino effect in other areas of your life. But I can't help but feel like this anger over the fact that things are not up to par. It's either, again, you expecting better of yourself or expecting better of somebody else. And this is really like needing to see things differently so that you're not so hard on yourself or hard on somebody else, especially if you're realizing that they can't meet the standards that you expect. Now, for those of you who are dealing with a double standard situation, there's a need for you to step outside of it and look at handling it in a different way. And I say that because of anger and chains. Like, if you don't, there's the potential for, your anger to cause more problems than what you intended. But I can't help but look at that and feel like I expected better. There's, the anger of things not meeting that expectation, right? But anger used in the right way can be very powerful when it comes to manifestation, right? So the Eight of Pentacles, putting in a lot of effort, refining what you know how to do, and then the Fool. So once there is all the effort put in, you're ready to go ahead and jump into a different experience. And I don't know why, but the specific person thing is like standing out to me right now. Like, I feel like I have been expecting better of someone, if that makes sense. Your overall temperance, interesting. So, looking at the oracle cards and seeing that as your overall, and this is you being a little bit more reserved, being more patient, But this is, creating that inner alchemy of peace between your thoughts and your feelings. But it's reserved. It's holding back. It's not like, strength where you're kind of reserving yourself and holding yourself back. This is doing so from a place of being able to maintain your inner peace. And I almost want to say, like, maintaining your sanity. But being patient, right? Being reserved about what's going on and not allowing it to affect your inner world. And you've got that Sagittarius energy going on. So in the past, the Eight of Swords, breaking free, being angry at the fact that you've been in a situation where you just can't see a way out. But it's really about the thoughts about what was going on that have kept you possibly in this loop. And for some of you, it's getting to the point where, like, you really need to, again, step back and hold back from being too mentally or emotionally involved in, the situation where you feel trapped. So you may be finding a different way of handling it while you're still stuck in it, if that makes sense. In the present, the Nine of Pentacles. So wanting to break free of a situation that may have been preventing you from being able to experience your own independence, right? So the Nine of Pentacles, it's independent, it's self-reliant, but it's being happy and content in that state and being able to enjoy your physical world and what you have worked hard for, but like wanting to become independent, no longer wanting to be trapped in a situation. And some of you are really having to like hold on to your patience before you kind of see that transition. But this could also be about, you really wanting to see something more or something different. I almost feel like yeah, I'm good with being single. I'm good with being independent, whatever the situation may be. But your thoughts may be blocking you from accepting something more, like wanting something more that you may be like really, working hard on yourself to make happen, right? And being patient with it, even though in the past you couldn't see how that could come into your awareness, if that makes sense. Like I'm just getting this feeling of, yeah, everything's good, but there's something else. There's something else that there's like this I want this to come into my experience. Everything on the outer world's great. I've done the work. I've got all these things. I'm happy with where I'm at. But your thoughts are trapping you in a way where certain things aren't coming in. It's like, I just don't see how this is going to happen for me. Everything else is great, but there's this one thing and I just don't see how it's going to come in. For others of you, it's literally you were stuck in a situation and now you are independent from it. And you're going through this kind of like reserved period with Temperance where you're creating that inner peace that you may have been missing because of the situation that you were stuck in before. Yo boy. And this is what I'm talking about. Like there's this feeling of there's something missing. And I wonder if, looking back at your oracle cards, if this isn't where you feel like something isn't, perfect, something isn't, meeting that standard for you. The Three of Swords and future conditions, we're talking about heartbreak. And I like that Temperance is the overall because heartbreak can be a catalyst for you to create something different. But if you are constantly focused on, what you are missing or who you are missing, whatever the situation may be, you're just going to create more of that. So some of you may be heartbroken over the fact that something isn't coming in. For some of you, it's, I've removed myself from the situation where I've been stuck, but I'm hurt over what took place. Because if you were happy with a past situation, you wouldn't be coming in with the Eight of Swords, right? With this whole idea of, I don't see how that's possible. But I'm getting this feeling of finding inner peace in the ability to be patient with what you're wanting to come in. Even though there's this I'm really hurt over the fact that I can't see how, what I'm missing isn't coming in. For some of you, it may be love. A genuine emotional connection, whatever it is that you feel separate from, that's causing that kind of pain, right? But temperance being the overall is perfect. It's almost a reminder of, hey, just stay within that space of inner peace and patience. And once you let go into that, then things can be allowed into your space. But it may be difficult because, again, you're coming in from this place of being stuck mentally, even though everything in your outer world looks really good. But because it's the Nine of Pentacles, it may be that, you don't want to be forever on your own doing things, right? It's not even about the fact that I don't need somebody else. I can take care of myself. It's not even about that anymore. You've already proven that to yourself. And that could only be for some of you, right? And I'm just kind of trying to articulate the feelings that I'm getting from the cards here. Your best path to follow, the Two of Wands. So it's really about you needing to make a choice to take a certain action. But the action that you're taking is toward, the world that you want to see. The things that you want to manifest. Now, it could be that there are, two very different ways of moving. There could be two very different directions here, but it's really about you needing to make a choice and acting toward that. But I can tell you right now that if you're looking at, what choice do I need to make in terms of my actions? If it's not inspired, then you shouldn't be acting toward anything. And it may be that you just need to look at the choices that you currently have right now and what you're willing to take action toward. But also understanding that, when you make that choice, there's still this need to remain open and patient. Temperate and balanced, right? Be careful too about getting caught up in the mental trap of, if I choose to go this way, then that means that I can only experience this, because that's just putting a limit on what you choose to act toward and what you create, right? So don't put any mental limits on what is possible for you if you act toward that, but don't take any type of action that isn't inspired. If you feel like you have to make a decision and act toward that decision, it may lead to a place where there's this continued feeling of separation and disappointment from what you're really wanting. In your environment, the Nine of Cups, right? And this is what I'm talking about. You are in this place where you may feel very, very thankful for the things that you have, because you have worked hard for them. I am grateful for them. I am fulfilled within what I have been able to accomplish in my experience. But what do you want? Right? I'm looking at this going, what does wish fulfillment look like to you? You may be mentally stuck in that there are certain desires that you have that you just don't see how that's possible for you. But you're okay. Like, you can do your own thing, and, you know, financially you may be perfect. Your outer world may be great. You have everything that you need because you created that for yourself. But emotionally, there may be something missing. And I say that because of the Three of Swords here. So what is it that you are content with? And if you're not content with this limitation, then that's where, you know, you need to look at how that may be affecting the choices that you make and how that directs your action towards what you're trying to create. I can't help but feel like there's something missing. And it's something that for you may have to do very specifically with how you are feeling. For some of you, it could be that you just don't see how that specific person is going to come in or is going to, you know, live up to the expectations that you have. And you may be at this place of, you know, what do I do about it? What I want to say here is just be aware that you don't have to, and I say this because of Temperance, you are under no obligation to immediately make a choice and start acting toward it. Just consider what you are wanting, and also how your thoughts are showing you how that's possible. Like the limitations that you're putting on that, you know, emotional wish, or the fulfillment of that emotional wish. Your hopes and your fears, you, the Emperor. So you've got Sagittarius, and now you've got you, and all this fire energy kind of, like, I feel is at the heart of this. But there may have been like thoughts that you have been stuck with about, you know, your wish fulfillment that you may not have been willing to look at. And I'm looking at the Emperor, and the positive of this as far as your hopes and fears is by taking back control, I am hoping that things, you know, go the way that I want them to, that I get the fulfillment that I'm looking for. The other part of this, though, is because we're looking at being, you know, balanced here with Temperance and just being patient, is that if you start to force control, is it going to create this kind of feeling of I still don't have what I want with the Three of Swords? Right? So, and I kind of go back to anger and chains and this whole feeling of like, be aware of how your inner state is directing the choices that you make and the actions that you take from that. But this is, I'm in control. And you have the ability to shut out what the outer world is showing you, because it does not dictate who you are, what you give meaning to, how you have control over what is going on in your life. Only focus on the things that you can control. That's what I want to say. And maintain patience and inner balance when it comes to waiting for what you are wanting to come through, because it's in your environment. Because once this starts to show up, then the action that you need to take will be shown to you, and you'll be able to easily move in the direction of your wish fulfillment, right? But for some of you, the heartbreak over how you don't see this coming through may push you to make a choice to act in a certain direction that's going to push you further away from what you've been wanting. And then coming out, Justice, man. So Aries, Sagittarius, and Libra. If you have been waiting for a painful situation to be resolved or balanced back out, just be patient. Don't force anything. Only control the things that you can control, and what you can control is what is going on within you and how you are perceiving things. But justice coming out is a huge indicator that what has been wrong will be amended. And this is also about you finally being able to make a choice that creates fairness and balance for you, the people around you, in your relationships. But where there has been heartbreak and separation, those things are going to be corrected through you keeping yourself reserved and not forcing any kind of a situation here, only controlling you and what is within your power to control. Don't ever take any forced action towards something. It's almost like saying, if I want this thing, I have to do this. No. What you need to do will be shown to you effortlessly. But I think that, like I said, for some of you, it's just there's something's missing. Now, if you've been stuck in a situation, you find yourself becoming more independent and working more on your wish fulfillment, there is still a part of you that may be like heartbroken over, pain that you've experienced because of being in that past situation. Whatever the case may be with that Three of Swords, justice coming out is a really good indicator that things are going to be corrected. But it depends, though, I feel like, on your ability to be reserved and not forcing something to happen, or not forcing yourself to take certain action that you don't feel like you want to do, but you think that you have to in order to get what you are wanting. That's not how that works, right? So the Queen of Pentacles, this is where, for some of you, your like really strong sense of independence may have been blocking out thoughts about the things that you don't have, that you do want. It's almost like there may have been a disconnect within you. But for others of you, what I feel like here is, your sense of security and self-reliance finally has reached a point within you where you believe it and you feel confident in it, and you don't need something externally to show that to you. You may have been really focused on taking care of yourself, but a part of that may have been like blocking out certain thoughts when it comes to, emotional fulfillments that you just don't see how they can come into, your experience. But the Queen of Pentacles, either way, is still a really good energy to be in. And for some of you, that may be a person coming through that could also be kind of helping you move into this sense of self where there is this feeling of control over what happens to you, right? The Knight of Pentacles and then the Six of Wands. So you've got this slow moving energy, but finally getting to a place of victory. And there's also, this beautiful recognition that's kind of going on. So, right, there may have been some really stubborn views of yourself and how you see things coming in that you are wanting. But I also feel like here with the Knight of Pentacles, this has been slow progress for you. But it's like, okay, I'm finally in this place where I don't need anything externally to give me a sense of security. You're more than capable of providing that for yourself. But this could also be somebody kind of giving you a more realistic view on the progress that, you are working toward here. It's slow, but there is, a plan moving forward here, right? Now, for those of you who have been stubborn in your way of thinking, This may be where you start to see some slow progress. And that's why there's this need for you to just continue to maintain inner harmony and peace and balance. And then you move into victory. Victory over the painful things. Victory over your amazing ability to block out certain feelings because you don't want to look at it and think that's not possible for me. It's like I feel like you're slowly getting past that. But again, with justice here, things are going to be balanced out, right? That heartbreak within you will be resolved. And, wherever you have been wronged, those things are going to be corrected too, right? And there's going to be that positive recognition that's going to come through with the Six of Wands. No matter what kind of progress you're making for yourself right now, it's going to be recognized in a way where it may help you to continue to move forward on feeling better about the choices that you make when it comes to, the things that you want, how you are taking the action to go after that. And the first thing you need to do is not try to act on your outer world, right? It's all about what's going on in the inner world. Now, for those of you who have been stuck in a difficult situation, absolutely, you are coming into this place of better being in control of what you can control, being more self-reliant. There is slow progress towards more emotional fulfillment, but there's also this recognition that, there's some pain here when it comes to you being separated from the things that you're wanting that'll create that emotional fulfillment. Oh boy. I hope that helps and that all of that made sense. Create change, a change in your thoughts, and then speak your truth. So when you are creating that kind of change in the way that you are thinking about the things that you want and how it's coming into your awareness, make sure that you are affirming that you are deserving of all the things that you want. That's what I feel like with that. Finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. Finding that sanctuary within, right? And then overcoming obstacles, you can overcome anything. I love this reading. To me, it just felt really, really in depth. And I'm hoping that the messages that came through on this will help you to be able to take better action and make better decisions when it comes to your emotional fulfillment, right? If you feel like something's missing, you've been separated from something, just be patient with yourself and make sure that you're maintaining that inner balance as you're going through this process. It may be a minute, but you are leading to a place where things are going to be fair and they're going to be balanced, and the pain that you have had to go through because of past situations, all of that is going to be corrected. And you will be led to a sense of victory where you have overcome all of that.